Hi everyone, and welcome to The Sleepy Scientist. I'm really happy you're here. Tonight, we're going to go on a calm and quiet trip to learn something amazing. So get comfy, take a deep breath, and let's enjoy this peaceful science story together. Before we start, tell me in the comments, where are you watching from and what time is it for you right now? If you like relaxing science videos, don't forget to tap the like button. Now let's begin. You close your eyes, the room grows quiet in a special way. The world outside still makes its small sounds, but they feel far away, like little boats on a wide lake at dusk. Your breath becomes slow, your body grows heavy and warm. It is the first step into the night's gentle river. This is where lanterns begin to glow inside your mind, small lights carried by thoughts that are not fully awake and not fully gone. You're drifting, and the brain is changing its rhythm, like a choir moving from a bright song to a soft hum. In this soft place, tiny messengers in your brain begin to whisper. They ride along loops that link your deep memory center, called the hippocampus, to the outer thinking shell, the cortex. It is as if a library in the center of you is lending books to the open fields of your mind, letting stories cross from one room to another. During the day, you touched the world. You watched faces, read words, tasted fruit, felt the sun, felt the shade. Your brain saved these moments in rough shape like quick sketches. Now, as you fall towards sleep, these sketches are carried out to be copied, cleaned, and tucked into safer shelves. Your muscles loosen and your body temperature drops just a little. Your heart beats more slowly, like a drum behind a curtain. This is NREM sleep, non-rapid eye movement, the calm, deep kind of sleep that comes in gentle waves. Picture a quiet beach at night. The water does not crash, it sighs. The brain does something like that. The cortex sings in slow tides called slow waves. Up and down like the tilt of a boat, whole fields of cells rise and rest together. When these waves roll, they open windows for change. They help the brain move, sort and store. Inside these slow waves, a special kind of spark arrives from the hippocampus. They are called ripples. Imagine a lantern flickering in a cave, the light bouncing off old stone. The ripples bring quick bursts of memory, small echoes of daytime moments. When a ripple meets a slow wave at the right time, it is like two dancers meeting hands. The memory can pass through the window and settle more deeply into the cortex. This is one reason we sleep. The brain is not turning off. It is building, it is protecting, it is making a nest for what we learned. But sleep is not one thing. The night is made of cycles, like the moon has phases. After a while, the brain changes again. Your eyes, behind your closed lids, begin to move quickly left, right, left, like fish in a pond. Your muscles go quiet, held safe by gentle locks in your brainstem, so your body does not act out the scenes that begin to rise. This is REM sleep, rapid eye movement. Here the lanterns brighten into colours and scenes. This is where dreams often feel strange and bright, like stories told by wind. In REM, the brain mixes old and new. The visual parts glow. The emotion centers warm. The logic parts rest a bit, allowing softer rules. We wander in a place that feels both true and not true. Why do we dream at all? Some think dreams are the mind's way to test ideas without risk, like practicing balance with a hand on a rail. Some think dreams help tie feelings to memories, sewing a patchwork so we can understand our days. Others say dreams are the sparks of the brain cleaning itself, like small flashes when wires are checked. There is no single answer yet, but we can follow the light of what we know. Dreaming often happens when the brain is busy with memory, with emotion, and with shaping meaning from many little pieces. Think of your day as a basket. You filled it with many pebbles, a new word, a friend's smile, the colour of the sky after rain, a worry about tomorrow. When night comes, your sleeping brain spreads the pebbles on a table. It groups them, words with words, faces with faces, colours with colours, worries with worries. It tries to make fair piles. It tosses out what is not needed. It polishes what matters. In REM sleep, the piles sometimes mix. A word falls into the worry pile. A colour rolls into the face pile. Now the brain sees a new pattern. It tries a new link. In your dream, a friend's smile shines the colour of the sky after rain, and a soft answer comes to your worry. The scene is not real, but the feeling is useful. When you wake, you might not remember the dream, but you may feel clearer, lighter, as if a knot has loosened. There is also the quiet cleaning of the brain's spaces, a night river that only flows deeply when you sleep. Between your brain cells, there is a tiny sea called the interstitial space. At night, it opens a bit wider. A gentle wash, called the glymphatic flow, moves through, clearing away small wastes from a day of thinking and feeling. It is like opening windows to let the night air in, letting dust drift away. You do not feel this wash, but your brain does. It is one more reason why sleep is kind, and why dreams may come as the brain hums through its chores. Listen to your own breath once more. Each breath is a hush. Your chest rises, falls. In the first part of the night, NREM sleep is long and deep, a slow lake. Later, near morning, REM sleep grows longer and brighter, a river of pictures. You move through these stages again and again, like climbing gentle hills and sliding down the other side. After about an hour and a half, you finish one loop, then another, and another. With each loop, the brain touches the memory table again, checks the piles, tries a new link, tests a feeling. Dreams flicker and fade, return and change, not trapped by time the way waking thoughts are. Now imagine your brain as a small town at night. Houses are dark and safe, streetlights make islands of gold. In the square, a clock tower keeps time steady and soft. That clock is your inner rhythm, circadian rhythm, tucked in a tiny part of the brain called the suprachiasmatic nucleus. It listens to light in the morning and to darkness at night, and it tells the rest of the town when to sleep, when to wake. When evening comes, a hormone called melatonin rises like a lullaby, telling your body, it's time. Your eyelids grow heavy. Your mind opens its lanterns. In this town, there are two friendly shops. One shop saves new things, this is the hippocampus. The other keeps the long story of your life, the cortex, with many rooms of sights, sounds and meanings. During the day, the first shop is busy. At night, the two shopkeepers meet. They swap notes, they say, let's keep this, let's let that go. They hum in slow waves. The notes pass during ripples, and when the dreaming hour comes, the town holds a festival of pictures. Faces float like lanterns on a canal. Old songs mix with new steps. The square is full of gentle surprises. Sometimes dreams feel scary or strange. They can be dark forests or rising waters, but even these are not only storms. The emotion center, the amygdala, is warm in REM sleep. The brain may be trying to practice brave ways to walk through hard feelings. In a dream, you can meet a fear without real danger. You can speak words you could not find in the day. You can see a problem from a sky-high view, like a bird looking down at winding paths. When you wake, you may carry a small gift, a new way to stand. Even if the dream was odd, its soft lesson may remain, like a shell in your pocket, smooth and secret. There are also dreams that feel like sand slipping through fingers. You wake with a bright piece, a sound, a colour, and then it fades. This is not a failure of memory. The brain, after REM, changes its state quickly. It moves from the dream's soft rules to the day's firmer rules. And unless you write the dream or say it aloud, the scene dissolves, like mist when the sun comes. Some people keep a small notebook by the bed to catch a few lines before they go. Even a few words can hold a feeling, like tying a ribbon to a branch to remember a path. Children dream, elders dream, animals dream too. A sleeping cat's whiskers twitch. Its paws run in place. This is a hint that dreams help more than humans. Some baby animals dream a lot, perhaps to help wire their world quickly, to practice shapes and moves before the day begins. In adults, dreams may keep the map fresh, the skills smooth, the feelings sorted. The exact meaning is still a story we are learning to read, but across the tree of life, sleep and dreams appear again and again, like a melody that nature loves. Think of a time you learned something new, a song on a piano, a set of steps, a word in a new language. You may have practiced and felt clumsy. Then you slept. The next day, your fingers moved more easily. The steps felt smoother. The word found its place on your tongue. It is not magic. It is night work. During sleep, the brain strengthens the paths that matter. Tiny gaps between cells, the synapses, adjust. Some become stronger, some rest and shrink. The important signals pass more clearly. The nerves wrap in better coats. It is like clearing a trail in a forest, so your feet can find it again. Dreams may be the lanterns that guide this clearing, lighting the places that need care, the turns that make sense. Sometimes dreams borrow from the body. If you are cold, your dream might place you in snow. If you're thirsty, a clear stream may appear. The brain listens to the body's small reports even in sleep, and it folds them into the story. This does not make the dream fake. It makes it kind. The brain is always looking for meaning, and it will make a picture to explain a feeling. In this way, dreams are bridges between body and mind, between yesterday and tomorrow. You can almost feel the edges of a dream now. A door opens into a room with soft windows. A familiar voice hums from somewhere you cannot see. The floor is warm. The air tastes like oranges. This is how dreams often begin. Little bits of sense rising from your day, tied by threads of memory and feeling. You walk slowly. You do not rush. Something you worried about becomes a friendly shape. Something you forgot returns with a smile. A small problem becomes smaller, like a pebble in a deep pocket. You keep walking, you keep breathing. The lantern light does not blind you. It guides you. If you wake for a moment in the night, do not be sad. The cycles are patient. Close your eyes again. Think of floating. Think of a lake at dusk. Your brain knows the path back. It knows the dock and the boat and the soft motion of the oars. You will drift again into the slow waves, the ripples and the bright pictures. Your town will hum, your shops will meet, your clock will keep time. When morning comes, a gentle light behind your eyes will dim the lanterns and your body will stir. And you will rise with a quiet gift that came from the work of the night. Some ask if dreams have messages. Perhaps they do, but not as secret codes. They may be more like weather. They tell you the air of your mind, the winds of your feelings, the season of your heart. They tell you if storms are clearing or if you need a warm coat. When you listen to a dream, you are listening to yourself. If it is kind, let it warm you. If it is sharp, ask what it needs. Be gentle if it is strange. All of it is you learning how to be. Now let's drift deeper. Imagine the slow waves again rolling across the sleeping fields of your brain. Imagine the ripples carrying little notes from your day. Imagine the eyes moving behind closed lids, reading scenes on a screen only you can see. Imagine the night river washing through the small spaces, leaving everything a little cleaner, a little more at ease. You're safe in the boat. The lanterns are steady. The water is kind. The stars of your inner sky are bright but soft, and the stories they draw are not fixed. They are practice, comfort, play. They are your mind holding your hand, even when you are far from the shore of waking. The night is not empty. It is full of work that feels like rest. It is full of pictures that feel like truth. It is full of feelings that soften into shape. This is why we sleep. This may be why we dream. The answer is not a single stone. It is many small stones that make a path. Each night, you step on the path again. Each morning, you return with feet that remember the way a little better. You carry the lantern's warmth in your chest. You carry the hint of a picture at the edge of your mind. You carry the quiet courage that comes from knowing that while you rested, your deepest self was busy caring for you. Close your eyes even if they are already closed. The town settles, the clock keeps time, the slow waves rise and fall, the ripples whisper. The pictures bloom, the cleaning river flows. The pebbles of your day find their places. The lanterns of the sleeping mind glow and glow, not to wake you, but to watch over you and to gently light the road inside. Now imagine the night not as a single stretch of darkness, but as a woven cloth, each thread shining in its own hue. Some threads are thick and steady, the deep, slow waves of NREM sleep, while others shimmer and quiver like silver wires, the quick eye movements of REM. Together they create a fabric strong enough to cradle your mind until morning. Within this cloth, dreams are stitched like embroidery, not always neat, but always alive. They carry colours from your memories, shapes from your senses, and warmth from your emotions, weaving a patchwork that is unique to every sleeper, every night, every moment of drifting thought. Science often tries to catch these wandering lights. Electrodes placed upon the scalp can trace the rhythms of sleep, showing mountains and valleys on glowing screens. When the peaks are high and slow, the sleeper rests in NREM. When the waves grow fast and mixed, the sleeper may be in REM and likely deep in a dream. Yet even with machines, dreams slip through our fingers. They are private oceans and the shore is only touched when we awaken. Still, researchers gather hints. They study animals, humans, and even the changes in brain chemistry to understand why such inner stories matter. The more they study, the more it seems that dreaming is not a useless echo, but a vital song. Let us drift into the brain's inner stage. In waking life, the prefrontal cortex, the planner, the judge, the careful thinker, is alert and stern. In dreams, this leader softens. Its grip loosens, letting an imagination take the front. Meanwhile, the limbic system, the seat of feelings, memory and instinct, glows more brightly. The amygdala hums with emotion, the hippocampus spills images, and the visual cortex paints scenes. It is as if the orchestra changes conductors. The logical mind rests, and the emotional mind rises, weaving symphonies of memory and sensation. This explains why dreams often bend the rules of time, space, and reason, yet feel soaked with meaning and emotion. Dreams may help us carry heavy feelings in lighter ways. When the day leaves us burdened, the night offers rehearsal. If you felt fear, a dream may place you in a storm where you survive. If you felt longing, a dream may bring you near to what you miss, even for a moment. Some researchers call this emotional regulation, a quiet balancing act. The brain revisits the sharpest feelings and smooths them into gentler forms. It is not always easy. Nightmares can sting. Yet even they may serve a role, helping us face shadows within safe boundaries. The sleeping brain becomes a teacher, showing us that what feels unbearable may be softened, reshaped, or slowly understood. Now step into the wide forest of nature. Dreams are not only human. Dogs twitch as if chasing phantom rabbits. Birds rehearse their songs in sleep, tiny melodies pulsing in their nerves. Rats run mazes in the day, then replay them in their dreams at night, as shown by the firing of their hippocampal cells. It seems that many creatures dream to practice, to learn, to adapt. Evolution has kept this mysterious habit across species, suggesting it is not waste but treasure. If dreams were useless, nature would have let them fade long ago. Instead, the lanterns still glow in many brains beneath the stars, guiding lives in ways both hidden and real. Imagine again the glymphatic system, the river that clears the brain. As it washes away toxins like amyloid, the dream state dances nearby. Perhaps these two acts are not separate, but partners. One clears space, the other reshapes meaning. Together they keep the brain whole, refreshed for another sunrise. It is like tending both the soil and the seeds in a garden. Without the cleaning, weeds would choke the roots. Without the dreaming, the seeds might never find new patterns to grow. So every night, the garden of the brain is cared for silently, tenderly as you drift unaware. Some dreams bring solutions like hidden gifts. A chemist once dreamed of a snake biting its own tail and woke with the image that helped him understand the ring structure of benzene. Musicians have woken with melodies, writers with phrases, inventors with designs. These are rare sparks, but they remind us that dreaming minds are not idle, they are creative. In REM sleep, the rules of waking loosen, letting unusual connection form. Ideas that seem separate in the day may find a bridge in the night. You may not invent a molecule or a song, but even in small ways, your dreams may hand you a gentler thought, a kinder answer, a fresh way to see. Think of your brain as a painter working in the dark. By day, it sketches outlines in pencil, quick and rough. By night, it returns with brushes, dipping into colours drawn from memory and emotion. It fills in shadows, brightens skies, and sometimes paints whole new shapes. You may wake and forget the picture, but the canvas has changed. Beneath the surface, the connections remain, guiding your steps in subtle ways. Dreams are not simply tales told in the dark, they are brushstrokes on the living fabric of who you are becoming. Drift now to another thought. Memory is not one thing. There are memories of skill, like riding a bicycle. There are memories of fact, like the capital of a country. There are memories of feeling, like the warmth of a childhood hug. Each of these is stored differently, tended differently, and dreams may help each in its own way. Skill memories are practiced silently at night as nerve paths strengthen. Facts are shifted from the hippocampus into broader storage tied to many anchors. Feelings are rehearsed, softened, or clarified so they do not overwhelm. All of this happens as the lanterns glow, unseen yet vital, in the quiet hours. Some people speak of lucid dreams, when the dreamer becomes aware and even shapes the dream. This too is a mystery. In such moments, parts of the prefrontal cortex seem to wake within the sleep, allowing choice inside the picture. Some find joy in flying, in creating, in exploring. Scientists study lucid dreaming as a window into the balance between control and surrender. It shows that dreaming is not fixed but fluid, a state that can bend and shift. Even here, the purpose may be practice, exploration, or healing, for the mind is always searching for ways to grow. When you next fall into slumber, think of the cycles as gentle tides. The first half of the night, the deep REM stages, hold you in steady arms, repairing, restoring and storing. The second half, filled with longer REM periods, paints your inner skies with colours of thought and memory. Together they complete the full song of sleep, balancing body, brain and spirit. And within this music, dreams are both melody and harmony, drifting yet necessary, fragile yet strong. Close your eyes now in imagination. Picture lanterns on a river, floating away, each one carrying a thought from your day. Some fade into the distance, some stay glowing nearby, some cluster together and make patterns you had never seen. This is the dream's way. Quiet, creative, beyond reason, yet rooted in truth. You wake with no lanterns in sight, yet the river has shaped you. You're a little lighter, a little wiser, a little more whole. This is the gift of dreams, the silent work of the night. The night is almost finished, though you cannot measure it from within. The brain has cycled through valleys and peaks, slow waves and quick bursts, the quiet of NREM and the vivid storms of REM. By now, the dreams have grown longer, more intricate, and more daring, as if the mind has learned to wander more freely in its own landscapes. The last dreams before morning often feel the richest, carrying traces of story and sensation that cling faintly as the light returns. They may be the most powerful lanterns glowing just before dawn, their warmth slipping into waking life like a secret letter tucked beneath your pillow. Why do we dream at all? The question circles back like a bird returning to its nest. No single answer waits, but many gentle ones. Some scientists see dreams as rehearsals, safe trials for dangers, puzzles and fears. Others see them as sculptors of memory, shaping the rough stones of the day into smoother, lasting forms. Still others hear them as echoes of the cleaning brain, sparks from the wash of night. And some simply see them as art, the mind's endless creativity pouring forth when freed from the strict lines of waking reason. Perhaps the truth is not one but all threads woven together to form a cloth strong enough to hold us. Consider how fragile and strong the dream state is. A whisper of noise may wake you, dissolving a dream like mist. Yet the process is resilient, continuing night after night, year after year. Even if one dream is lost, another will come, another chance for rehearsal, for balance, for meaning. Dreams may be fleeting in memory, but they are steady in presence, like stars hidden by daylight. Just because you do not see them does not mean they are gone. They wait for the darkness to reveal themselves again. Now imagine a world without dreams. Without them, perhaps emotions would pile like unwashed laundry, heavy and sour. Memories might tangle, losing their connections. The mind might struggle to find creative bridges, to solve puzzles, to soften fears. Even though we cannot always recall our dreams, their absence would leave a hollow space. People deprived of REM sleep grow irritable. Their minds fray at the edges, their balance falters. Dreams, it seems, are not luxuries but necessities, invisible medicines given freely by the night. The mystery of dreams also teaches humility. With all our machines and studies, we still cannot fully grasp their essence. We can measure waves, map sparks, and collect stories, but the lived experience of a dream remains private, unreachable, like a butterfly behind glass. This reminds us that science is not only about answers, but about wonder. The unexplainable is not failure, but invitation. Dreams invite us to keep asking, keep wondering, keep softening into mystery. Perhaps that is another gift, to remind us that even within ourselves, there are oceans we cannot fully chart. Think of how dreams connect us across time. Ancient people told dream stories by firelight, seeing them as omens, messages, or journeys of the soul. Some believed God spoke in dreams, others that ancestors visited. Today, we use brain scans and psychology, but the awe is the same. A dream still feels otherworldly, still makes us question the line between real and imagined. In this way, dreaming is a bridge not only within the brain, but across human history, a shared lantern glowing through centuries, guiding us in darkness. There is tenderness in the way dreams dissolve. You may wake with only a fragment, a scent, a word, a face. It slips away as you stretch and blink. Yet perhaps this is wise. To carry the full dream into waking might blur the lines too much, confuse the body with the mind's play. Instead, you are left with only what matters: a softened feeling, a lighter step, a new idea, a quiet release. Dreams give just enough, then retreat, so that waking life can continue with its own clear edges. The morning arrives. Light touches your closed eyes, sending signals to the suprachiasmatic nucleus, quieting melatonin, lifting the town of your brain into motion. The lanterns dim, the cycles pause, yet you rise carrying their work. You feel rested, more balanced, more ready. Even if you cannot recall the dream's face, you carry its fingerprints. Your emotions are steadier, your memories stronger, your creativity quietly alive. The dream has left its invisible gift, and you step into the day with it tucked inside you. Pause for a moment and picture the inner garden again. The soil has been cleared, the seeds tended, the flowers watered. The garden is not finished, it never is, but it is cared for. That care is what dreams provide. Without them, weeds would spread, seeds might wither. With them, the garden continues to bloom, each night a small tending, each morning a quiet harvest. You are the gardener, but you are also the soil, the seed, the bloom. The dream is the patient hand that helps you grow. So why do we dream at all? We dream to remember and to forget. We dream to practice and to release. We dream to heal and to create. We dream because our brains and hearts need it, because our inner world is too rich to rest silent. Dreams are the hidden half of life, the lantern-lit river that flows beside the waking road. Without them, the journey would be harsher, lonelier. With them, even in darkness, we are guided, softened, and carried toward the dawn. As the story closes, let yourself imagine drifting once more. The lanterns glow, the ripples carry notes, the waves rise and fall. The town clock keeps time, the gardens are watered, the rivers wash clean. This is the gentle work of dreams. You may never hold them in your hand, but they hold you. And that, in its quiet way, is enough. The night will come again, the lanterns will return, and the dreaming mind will light the road within, again and again, as long as you live. The mind's midnight garden is a place where shadows bloom and silence nurtures every thought. As the world outside slows and the last whispers of daylight fade, the brain begins its gentle work. Neurons, countless and intricate, awaken to a rhythm all their own, far removed from the schedules and pressures of waking life. They stretch along their pathways like branches in a quiet orchard, reaching toward one another with soft electric signals. In this secret garden, connections are pruned, strengthened and rearranged. It is a delicate cultivation, invisible and essential, shaping the way you think, feel and remember. Imagine entering the garden as the gardener of your own mind. You notice the rows of memories, some tall and flourishing, others fragile and bending under the weight of time. During the day, these rows are crowded, mixed with fragments of experience, emotion and thought. But at night, under the quiet moon of consciousness, the mind begins to sort them. Some memories are reinforced, their roots sunk deep into the soil of long-term storage. Others are gently released, decomposing into nutrients that nourish new growth. In this process, nothing is wasted. The garden thrives on transformation, and every discarded leaf becomes part of the cycle. The waves of electrical activity in the brain guide the gardener's hand. Slow delta waves sweep over the landscape, calming and stabilizing the soil. They allow essential repair to occur, both for neurons themselves and for the connections between them. Synapses, which may have grown too dense or chaotic during the day, are selectively weakened, creating space for new learning. Meanwhile, REM sleep sends rapid pulses through the branches, sparking dreams that water the seeds of creativity. It is a choreography of quiet precision, a pattern of growth and release that ensures the garden remains fertile and alive. In the midnight garden, time feels suspended. There is no urgency, no alarm to signal the end of work. Hours stretch like soft soil beneath the roots, and the brain moves freely through its tasks. It revisits old memories, entwining them with new ones, weaving stories that will shape perception and behavior. Emotional experiences are processed gently. Fear and sadness are sifted through, leaving only lessons and understanding. The mind's garden is as much a sanctuary for the heart as it is for intellect, tending to the emotional terrain as carefully as the cognitive. Consider the role of sleep spindles, tiny bursts of activity that appear in stage 2 of sleep. These are like whispers in the garden, messages carried from one neuron to another, reinforcing important memories while keeping the soil undisturbed for other growth. Studies suggest that learning during the day is consolidated during these brief but vital moments. Facts, skills and patterns are organized, prioritized and filed away for later use. Without these subtle signals, the garden could not flourish. New knowledge would struggle to take root, and the beauty of understanding would fade. The circulation of fluid through the brain is another hidden irrigation system. During sleep, the glymphatic system flows more freely, washing away metabolic waste accumulated during waking hours. Proteins that could damage delicate neural structures are swept into hidden channels, carried away like debris in a stream. This cleansing is silent, unnoticed, yet essential. Imagine water trickling through garden beds, nourishing plants and carrying away fallen leaves. Without it, the growth of the garden would be stunted, and the mind would struggle to maintain clarity. Dreams themselves act as both fertilizer and sunlight. In the realm of REM sleep, the brain experiments with scenarios, emotions, and ideas. Neurons fire in sequences that mimic waking life, yet the environment is controlled and safe. A fear faced in a dream does not harm the body, but leaves a trace in the soil of the mind, allowing courage to grow in waking hours. Joy experienced in dreamscapes can brighten the blossoms of mood, colouring perception with subtle warmth. These nocturnal experiences may vanish upon waking, but their effects persist, strengthening resilience and nurturing insight. The architecture of the garden is not uniform. Some areas are dense and tangled, representing long-term memories, habits, and deeply ingrained skills. Others are open spaces reserved for new ideas, innovations, and spontaneous creativity. During the night, the brain shifts attention between these zones, pruning one area, fertilizing another. This dynamic balance ensures that growth continues while old patterns do not become rigid. Life in the garden is constant, a cycle of subtle change that sustains the mind's vitality across days, months, and years. Even the tiniest details matter. The timing of hormone release, for instance, affects the garden's energy. Growth hormone surges in deep sleep, repairing not only the body but supporting cognitive development. Cortisol is suppressed, allowing tranquility to pervade the landscape, and then gradually rises before morning, preparing the garden for the day ahead. Neurotransmitters shift, glial cells clear debris, and blood flow redistributes nutrients where they are most needed. Each element is interconnected, forming an ecosystem that thrives on cooperation and balance. The mind's midnight garden is also shaped by the events of the day. Novel experiences plant new seeds, challenges lay down roots of understanding, and emotional encounters deposit rich soil for reflection. Even stress can leave nutrients when processed during sleep, if approached by the gardener's gentle hand. This nightly tending transforms the raw material of life into something coherent, something meaningful. By morning, the garden stands as a testament to unseen labour, a space prepared to greet waking consciousness with clarity, creativity, and emotional stability. As you drift deeper into sleep, the garden grows darker, not as a limitation but as a protective canopy. Light can disturb delicate processes, silence shields them. In the absence of stimulation, the brain finds freedom. It wanders through memories, experiments with possibilities, and adjusts synapses like gardeners adjusting irrigation. Each night, this process unfolds with quiet regularity, ensuring that the mind remains adaptable, resilient, and fertile. The midnight garden is not a luxury. It is essential, as vital as air, water, and sunlight for the body. Perhaps the most astonishing aspect is how little awareness is required. You do not consciously direct this work, yet it is carried out with precision. The mind's own rhythms, evolved over millennia, ensure that every connection, every memory, every emotional trace is attended to. The process is invisible but profoundly effective. By the time the sleeper awakens, the garden has completed its nocturnal labours, leaving behind a mind that feels rested, coherent, and ready for the challenges of a new day. In this garden, there is a profound sense of continuity. Every night repeats the same cycle, yet every garden grows slightly differently, influenced by each day's experiences. The patterns of growth are not random, they are guided by the necessity, adaptation, and the subtle intelligence of the brain. Like a gardener who understands each plant's needs, the mind balances repair, reinforcement, and creativity with quiet skill. Night after night, it nurtures the garden, shaping not only memory and learning, but personality, resilience, and imagination. Let yourself imagine walking through this garden, moving silently among the rows of memory and thought. You touch the leaves lightly, noticing how some are strong and vibrant, others fragile but still rooted. You sense the streams of fluid passing nearby, carrying away debris and nourishing roots. You notice bursts of light, REM spikes igniting pathways, dreams flickering across the foliage. The air is still but alive, filled with the hum of neurons and the gentle pulse of life. In this garden, everything is connected and everything is alive, unseen yet undeniably present. The beauty of the mind's midnight garden is that it does its work without demand. You do not need to watch, you do not need to intervene. It cultivates, prunes, and fertilizes quietly, ensuring the stability and vitality of the mind. Each morning you rise with no conscious memory of its toil, yet the effects are visible in clarity of thought, emotional balance, and cognitive flexibility. The garden's influence pervades every action, decision, and perception. What seems effortless is in fact the result of meticulous nocturnal labour, performed with grace and precision. And so the night passes, silently weaving its magic through the garden of the mind. Neurons rest and fire, synapses strengthen and weaken, emotions settle, and creativity is nourished. By the time dawn approaches, the work is nearly complete, leaving the garden ready to meet the light. The gardener retires, leaving the soil rich and pathways clear. Though you may awaken with no recollection of this inner world, you carry its fruits within you in the way you think, feel, and move. The midnight garden thrives unseen, yet its harvest is with you always. As the night deepens, the mind's midnight garden begins to reveal subtler rhythms, hidden patterns that shape thought and emotion in ways that escape waking notice. The brain's architecture, so intricate and delicate, is a landscape both familiar and mysterious. Each neuron, a slender, branching structure, reaches out like a vine toward its neighbours, connecting, exchanging, and sometimes retreating. These connections are not static, they shift, bend, and strengthen, forming networks that carry not only memory, but the essence of learning itself. The process is slow, unhurried, as if the garden itself were breathing, aware of the spaces it inhabits and the life it sustains. One might imagine walking along these pathways, observing the quiet toil of unseen gardeners. Glial cells, often overlooked during waking hours, move like tiny caretakers, clearing debris, nourishing neurons, and maintaining the balance of the neural ecosystem. They guide the growth of new branches and prune those that no longer serve their purpose. In this continuous choreography, every element has its role. Electrical impulses dance along dendrites, sparking ideas, reinforcing patterns, and planting the seeds of understanding. The mind is both the gardener and the garden, a self-sustaining world that evolves night after night, silently shaping who you are. Sleep does not merely repair what has been broken, it also prepares the soil for what is yet to grow. During stage 3, sleep, slow-wave oscillations sweep through the cortex, coordinating distant regions and creating fertile ground for memory consolidation. Facts learned during the day, from trivial details to profound insights, are carefully reviewed, reinforced and stored. This process is selective, precise and beautifully efficient. It is as if the garden knows which seeds are worth nurturing and which should be returned to the compost of experience, enriching the soil for future growth. Dreams, which arise during REM sleep, act as the sunlight in this hidden world. They illuminate connections that are otherwise invisible, linking experiences, emotions and knowledge in creative ways. The narratives of dreams, though often fleeting and surreal, are more than idle fantasy. They represent the brain's experimentation with possibility, rehearsing scenarios, solving problems, and integrating feelings. In the dreamscape, neurons fire in patterns that mirror waking thought, yet with freedom and fluidity. The mind explores without limitation, discovering insights that might never emerge under the strictures of consciousness. Emotions, too, are tended within this nocturnal sanctuary. The limbic system, a cluster of structures that govern feeling, is particularly active during sleep, processing experiences of fear, joy, sadness, and longing. Emotional memories are revisited, examined, and sometimes recontextualized. A painful memory may be softened, its edges smoothed, leaving understanding and resilience behind. Happiness may be amplified, reinforcing positive patterns of thought. In this way, sleep nurtures not only cognition, but the emotional garden, ensuring that the mind awakens not only restored but balanced, capable of navigating the complexities of life with grace. The passage of time within the garden is unlike any waking measure. Hours fold into one another as processes unfold at their own pace. Circadian rhythms guide the flow of hormones and neurotransmitters, orchestrating the delicate balance of alertness, repair, and growth. Melatonin rises to signal night, deepening the shadows where neurons can tend to their tasks undisturbed. Growth hormone surges, repairing both body and brain, while cortisol ebbs, allowing serenity to permeate the inner world. Each chemical shift is like a gentle rain or a soft sunbeam, influencing which areas of the garden flourish and which rest in quiet dormancy. Patterns emerge across nights as the garden learns from its own history. Synaptic plasticity, the brain's ability to adjust the strength of connections, ensures that learning is cumulative. Repeated experiences, skills, and insights leave deeper traces, forming robust networks that endure across time. Novel experiences, by contrast, create new pathways, expanding the garden's diversity and adaptability. This interplay between stability and flexibility is central to the garden's vitality. It allows for growth without chaos, innovation without disorder, and continuity without stagnation. The sensory experiences of the day also leave impressions that guide the nocturnal work. Sounds, images, touch, and movement are woven into the fabric of memory. Even subtle sensations, like the rhythm of breathing or the warmth of sunlight on skin, may influence the patterns the brain reinforces at night. These traces, though often imperceptible, act as nutrients, encouraging growth in areas aligned with recent experiences. The mind's midnight garden is responsive, adaptive, and sensitive to the world it inhabits, tending its own microclimate with precision and care. Consider also the quiet emergence of creativity in this hidden landscape. REM sleep, with its bursts of rapid eye movement and heightened neural activity, facilitates connections between seemingly unrelated ideas. The brain experiments, recombining concepts and experiences in novel ways. Solutions to problems, artistic inspiration, and even scientific insights may appear during this time, often without conscious effort. The garden nurtures these sprouts, allowing them to grow strong enough to carry into waking life. What seems like an accidental flash of insight is often the culmination of hours of silent cultivation. Sleep architecture, with its cyclical stages, ensures that all aspects of the garden are tended. Each night passes through multiple cycles of NREM and REM sleep, alternating between repair, memory consolidation, and creative exploration. The repetition is not monotonous, rather it is a carefully balanced sequence, allowing different regions and systems to receive attention at appropriate times. Just as a gardener might water, prune, and fertilize in careful rotation, the brain follows its intrinsic schedule, optimizing health, learning, and emotional balance. The processes are invisible, yet their effects are profound and enduring. The interplay of memory, emotion, and creativity within the garden demonstrates the holistic nature of sleep. No single process exists in isolation. Each influences the other, creating a rich integrated ecosystem. Emotional processing enhances memory retention, while creative recombination of ideas deepens understanding. Repair mechanisms preserve the structural integrity necessary for these functions to continue. The result is a mind that is not only functional but vibrant, capable of adapting to new challenges, solving complex problems, and experiencing life with emotional richness. Even the act of awakening is part of the garden's design. The transition from night to day is gradual, guided by light, temperature, and hormonal shifts. The mind emerges with strengthened memories, repaired structures, and freshly nourished creativity. Emotional resilience too is enhanced, allowing for a measured response to challenges. The garden has completed its nocturnal labour, leaving behind a mind prepared for the unfolding day. Yet the work is continuous. Each night renews, reinforces, and expands the garden, a cycle without end, a rhythm as ancient as life itself. One might imagine revisiting the garden, this time exploring the delicate interplay between regions of the brain. The hippocampus, guardian of memory, works closely with the cortex, orchestrating the sorting and storing of experiences. The amygdala, custodian of emotion, modulates the intensity of feelings, ensuring balance. Neurotransmitters act as messengers, signaling which paths need reinforcement and which require rest. This collaboration ensures that the mind remains coherent, resilient, and capable of both reflection and creativity. Each structure, though specialized, contributes to the unified life of the garden. The midnight garden is also a place of gentle mystery. Despite centuries of research, much of its functioning remains hidden, like paths obscured by twilight. The exact mechanisms by which dreams influence memory, emotion, and creativity are still being explored. How the brain decides which synapses to prune and which to strengthen, how it integrates complex experiences, and how subtle biochemical cues guide growth, all remain areas of fascination. Yet even without complete understanding, the garden continues its work, reliable and patient, tending the inner life with quiet assurance. As dawn approaches, the garden prepares to transition. Electrical activity slows, hormones shift, and the cycles of sleep draw toward completion. Memories are stabilized, emotions balanced, and creative insight secured. The mind's landscape, once hidden beneath the cloak of night, is now ready to support conscious life. The work of the night is invisible yet enduring, shaping perception, thought, and feeling in ways that touch every waking moment. The garden, though unseen, leaves its mark in clarity, resilience, and the subtle joy of understanding. And so, in the quiet hours of sleep, the mind's midnight garden thrives. Each neuron, each connection, and each fleeting dream contributes to a living tapestry of thought, memory, and emotion. The processes are gentle, continuous, and profoundly interconnected. By tending this hidden world, the brain ensures that the self awakens not merely rested but transformed, carrying forward the subtle fruits of nocturnal cultivation. The garden persists night after night, a sanctuary of growth, healing, and quiet wonder. Morning light filters softly through the curtains of consciousness, casting gentle illumination upon the mind's midnight garden, now quiet but brimming with the work of the night. Though the garden rests from its nocturnal labour, traces of its activity linger in every thought, every fleeting emotion, and every decision awaiting the day. The neurons, once bustling with the energy of dreams and oscillations, now stand as calm sentinels, their strengthened connections a testament to hours of silent diligence. Memory, once fluid and transient, has been anchored securely into the cortex, a quiet record of yesterday's experiences waiting to be recalled when needed. In this stillness, there is a deep satisfaction, as though the garden itself exhales in relief, having fulfilled its purpose with gentle precision. The mind awakens with the residue of night's subtle work, often unnoticed yet profoundly impactful. Insights discovered in REM sleep may linger at the edges of thought, shaping creative decisions and problem solving throughout the day. Emotional resilience, strengthened by a nocturnal processing, allows reactions to the world to be tempered, thoughtful, and nuanced. Painful experiences may feel lighter, joys more vivid, as if the mind carries within it the distilled essence of dreams and memory. The garden's labour, though invisible, influences every corner of waking life, its effects interwoven with perception, cognition, and feeling. There is a quiet poetry in this unseen choreography, a gentle assurance that growth and understanding continue even when we are unaware. As one rises, the cycle of renewal continues beyond the garden itself, extending into the body and the environment. The brain's nocturnal pruning and reinforcement ripple outward, shaping patterns of behaviour, movement, and interaction. Synaptic networks, having been refined, guide attention with greater precision, encourage learning with subtle efficiency, and facilitate the integration of new experiences into existing knowledge. Thoughts flow more smoothly, reactions are more deliberate, and the mind can navigate complexity with a graceful ease born from the night's unseen cultivation. The garden's influence, though subtle, is profound, a reminder that even in rest, life is continually nurtured. Throughout the day, fragments of dreams may surface as gentle whispers in consciousness. These fleeting images, sometimes vivid, sometimes hazy, are echoes of the brain's nocturnal experimentation. They offer perspectives that might otherwise remain undiscovered, suggesting solutions, highlighting emotions, and revealing connections between ideas. A fleeting intuition, a sudden creative spark, or a renewed understanding of a past event can often be traced to the patterns rehearsed in the garden during sleep. This interplay between the hidden world of night and the active consciousness of day forms a continuous dialogue, a quiet symphony of thought that moves seamlessly across the boundaries of awareness. The emotional landscape also reflects the night's nurturing influence. Memories once tangled with stress or confusion may feel softer, their intensity moderated by the subtle pruning and reorganization of nocturnal processes. Joy and gratitude are reinforced by the delicate strengthening of positive connections, while fear and sadness are contextualized, allowing for reflection and growth. In this way, the mind awakens not as a blank slate but as a carefully tended ecosystem, equipped to navigate the world with balanced perception and emotional clarity. The garden's work is both restorative and preparatory, laying the foundation for the day's unfolding experiences. Consider the gentle wisdom embedded in the cycles of sleep, a rhythm honed over millennia of evolution. The alternation of deep, slow-wave sleep and REM sleep ensures that every aspect of the mind's midnight garden receives attention. Repair, consolidation, and creative exploration occur in turn, each process supporting and enhancing the others. This cyclical harmony allows the brain to maintain both stability and adaptability, fostering resilience and growth. By honouring these rhythms, the mind participates in an ancient pattern, connecting not only with its own inner world, but with the broader cadence of life itself. Even mundane acts of waking, stretching, blinking, feeling the weight of the body carry the subtle imprints of the night's work. Neural circuits, refined and reinforced, guide motion with efficiency, allowing coordination and balance that seem effortless. Decisions, whether trivial or significant, are informed by the insights rehearsed while asleep, a quiet influence shaping daily life. The garden's labour is comprehensive, integrating cognition, emotion, creativity, and behaviour into a seamless, living whole. Though invisible, it is as real and essential as sunlight on leaves or water-nourishing roots, a continuous presence that supports life with patient care. Throughout life, the mind's midnight garden evolves, responding to experiences, challenges, and the passage of time. Each night adds new layers of complexity, reinforcing enduring knowledge and nurturing emerging understanding. The brain's plasticity ensures that growth is not static. It adapts, reshapes, and renews itself in response to both internal reflection and external stimuli. The garden's cycles, repeated night after night, create a cumulative legacy, a rich inner world capable of creativity, empathy, and wisdom. Life itself is both shaped by and reflected within this hidden landscape, a continuous dance of growth and renewal that never ceases. Reflecting on the garden's work, one can sense the intricate interdependence of sleep, thought, and emotion. Memory consolidation is inseparable from emotional processing. Creativity arises from the integration of experience. Repair supports every other function. The mind in this way is both self-sustaining and interconnected, a microcosm of the broader natural world. Just as ecosystems thrive through balance and interaction, so does the garden of the mind flourish through its own delicate interplay of activity and rest, connection and separation, growth and pruning. It is a living testament to the quiet intelligence inherent in life. As night returns, the garden prepares to resume its labour, undisturbed by the passing day. Neurons lie in wait, ready to explore new experiences, emotions, and insights. Synapses are primed to strengthen or prune as needed, reflecting the day's events. Dreams await, ready to illuminate hidden connections and foster creativity. The cycle is perpetual, an ongoing dialogue between wakefulness and sleep, between conscious thought and subconscious cultivation. Each night, the garden quietly ensures that the mind remains vibrant, resilient, and attuned to the subtle currents of life. In this continuous rhythm, there is a profound lesson. Growth, understanding, and emotional well-being require both activity and rest. Just as plants rely on sunlight and soil, the mind depends on the interplay of conscious experience and nocturnal reflection. The garden thrives not in haste but in careful, deliberate cycles, honouring the slow unfolding of life and thought. By participating in this rhythm, the self becomes more integrated, creative, and capable of navigating the complexities of existence with grace. Sleep, once thought merely passive, emerges as an active, essential participant in the cultivation of the mind. And so the mind's midnight garden endures, night after night, invisible yet profoundly influential. Every dream, every oscillation, every synaptic strengthening contributes to a living tapestry of memory, emotion, and creativity. The work is quiet, unassuming, and continuous, yet its effects touch every waking moment. Awareness of this hidden landscape invites gentle reflection, appreciation, and care, reminding us that even in rest, life is being nurtured, insights are being planted, and understanding is quietly flourishing. The garden, ever patient and enduring, tends to the inner life, guiding the mind toward clarity, balance, and quiet wonder. In the dim corners of the ocean, far beneath where sunlight dares to wander, tiny points of light emerge, delicate as fireflies drifting through a hidden night. These glowing whispers belong to organisms that have mastered the quiet art of bioluminescence, each cell a lantern, each pulse a soft message sent across the dark water. Imagine a world where light is not a blaze to illuminate, but a gentle rhythm that breathes life into the shadowy depths. Here in this muted glow, cells communicate, attract, and defend, their luminance and intimate poetry written in chemistry and time. The light of these cells is born from molecules called luciferins, which, when touched by enzymes known as luciferases, release photons in a gentle emission of energy. This process, simple yet extraordinary, has evolved over millions of years, a testament to the elegance of nature's design. Each flicker is both functional and beautiful, serving as a lure for mates, a warning for predators, or a means to navigate the darkened waters. The phenomenon is more than mere biology. It is a dance between molecules, a whispered dialogue that the ocean holds in trust, delicate and precise, like a secret passed from generation to generation. The cells themselves are astonishingly intricate. Within their membranes, the machinery of light unfolds with quiet efficiency. Vesicles cradle the chemical spark, awaiting the precise moment of release. Tiny organelles coordinate the timing, ensuring that every glow follows the rhythm dictated by both internal clocks and external cues. In some organisms, these flashes occur in patterns, as if choreographed for an audience invisible to human eyes. One can almost hear the gentle pulse of the ocean, each heartbeat mirrored in the soft radiance of these luminous cells, a silent music that carries the essence of life in its light. Light in this form does not burn or blind, it caresses the senses with its subtle presence. Scientists have measured its wavelengths, captured its intensity, and documented its rhythm, yet no instrument can fully convey the quiet wonder of standing beneath a canopy of glowing organisms. The bioluminescence feels alive, as though each cell is aware of its part in a grander performance, a choreography spanning oceans and epochs. The ocean becomes a cathedral of faint glows, each pulse a verse in a long and ongoing poem, written in molecules and energy, a testament to nature's patient creativity. This glow is not confined to the deep sea. On warm summer nights along certain coasts, plankton rise to meet the moon, their collective luminescence tracing the contours of waves and footsteps. The effect is ethereal, as if the earth itself remembers the light of its oceans and projects it back to the sky. Each microorganism contributes its tiny spark, yet together they create a living tapestry, illustrating the power of unity and the subtle interplay between individuality and collective harmony. In these fleeting moments, one senses the quiet intelligence of life, guiding, adapting, and expressing itself through the medium of light. Even at the microscopic level, the glow carries information. Patterns of luminescence can signal mating readiness, alert neighbours to danger, or help coordinate hunting strategies. The timing and intensity of flashes are not random. They are finely tuned, honed by evolution to maximize survival. Within each cell, chemical reactions unfold with a precision that rivals the finest clocks, each flicker a note in a symphony composed over millennia. Observing these rhythms, one cannot help but feel a sense of reverence for the hidden order that governs even the smallest flickers of life. The quiet genius of nature manifested in glowing molecules. Beyond survival, bioluminescence invites reflection on the intimate relationship between light and life. In darkness, the presence of these glowing cells reveals that life does not merely endure, it creates beauty even where the world seems empty. The glow is a reminder that even in shadow there is expression, communication, and artistry. It is a subtle reassurance that complexity can exist in simplicity, and that even a single cell, pulsing gently in the water, participates in the vast symphony of existence. The beauty is inseparable from the function, and each flash carries within it both purpose and poetry. Scientists continue to unravel the mysteries of these luminous cells. Some research explores the possibility of harnessing bioluminescence for medical imaging, environmental monitoring, or even sustainable lighting. Yet no innovation can replicate the organic elegance of life's natural glow, where chemistry and consciousness meet in perfect harmony. Observing these cells in their native habitat, one senses a profound connection to the broader web of life, an awareness that even the smallest organism participates in processes far greater than itself, a quiet yet persistent witness to the rhythms of existence that stretch across oceans and through time. Every glow tells a story, not only of the organism itself, but of its place in the vast ecosystem. Predators learn to navigate these signals, prey to evade them, and entire communities to synchronize their behavior with the pulse of light. The bioluminescent language is both ancient and immediate, an invisible thread linking generations of creatures in a delicate web of cause and effect. To watch this interplay is to witness the delicate negotiation of life, the subtle agreements and understandings written not in words, but in luminous gestures, in the very chemistry that sustains the pulse of existence. As day approaches and light from the sun penetrates the ocean's upper layers, the glow diminishes, retreating into the private chambers of cells until night returns. Yet its presence lingers in memories, in captured images, in the quiet knowledge that life has found countless ways to express itself. The ocean, once dark and mysterious, is now recognized as a canvas for one of nature's most exquisite phenomena. The quiet glow of cells reminds us that even in invisibility there is expression, that life persists with creativity, and that every organism, no matter how small, has a story written in light, awaiting discovery by those patient enough to observe. Now imagine drifting deeper into the luminous world of cells, where each tiny glow is more than a mere flicker. It is a living rhythm, a gentle heartbeat echoing across the silent waters. These organisms are not merely biological curiosities, they are storytellers, chroniclers of the ocean's hidden life, translating chemical reactions into soft illuminations that ripple through darkness like a whispered lullaby. The glow is both a message and a melody, a delicate interplay of energy and matter, a subtle reminder that even in the depths where light is scarce, life finds a way to express itself, to communicate, to resonate with the infinite silence surrounding it. Bioluminescence is not a single phenomenon, but a spectrum of strategies, each unique, shaped by the intimate demands of survival. Some species, like the tiny dinoflagellates, create glowing waves along the shore, transforming ordinary water into a living painting, a dance of light that responds to the gentlest disturbance. Others, hidden in the deep, produce controlled flashes that can startle predators, attracting attention just long enough to confuse or evade. Each pattern, each pulse, is a narrative in miniature, a chemical poetry carefully tuned over millennia. The ocean becomes a library of luminous texts, each organism inscribing its own story in light, its own verse in the ongoing poem of life. The mechanism behind these lights is as astonishing in its simplicity and precision. Within specialized cells called photocytes, chemical compounds intermingle with enzymatic catalysts in a quiet alchemy. Luciferin, the molecule that carries the potential for light, meets luciferase, the enzyme that releases it, and together they create photons, minuscule particles of light, which emerge in waves or bursts, depending on the organism's needs. It is an energy exchange so delicate that even a slight change in environment, a subtle shift in temperature or pH, can alter the intensity or rhythm of the glow. In this delicate balance, one can perceive the quiet intelligence of evolution, sculpting not just form and function, but elegance in motion and illumination. The glow of cells does more than light up the darkness. It creates a subtle ecosystem of behavior, a dialogue between organisms and their environment. Predators may learn to recognize certain flashes as warnings, avoiding prey that signals danger, while prey can develop strategies to blend their luminescence with ambient patterns, becoming part of a living mosaic of light. Some organisms even use bioluminescence to attract symbiotic partners, offering glimpses of their own internal chemistry in exchange for protection or nutrients. In these exchanges, the glow becomes more than survival. It becomes a language, a conversation conducted not with sound or gesture, but with photons dancing across the membranes of living cells. As we drift closer, we notice that the intensity and colour of light can vary remarkably, from soft blues to greenish glimmers, sometimes tinged with faint reds or pinks. These colours are more than aesthetic, they are tuned to the sensitivity of other creatures' eyes, to the scattering of light through water, to the subtle physics of photon absorption. The glow is not accidental, it is an adaptation, a tailored signal designed to optimize communication, defense, or attraction. Every hue tells a story, every shade conveys information, and the combination of these signals creates a living tapestry of life where biology, chemistry, and physics converge to produce something that is functional, mesmerizing, and quietly poetic. The bioluminescence of cells also invites contemplation of time. Each flash is a brief instant, a momentary illumination. Yet collectively these flashes can mark days, nights, seasons and cycles. Some organisms synchronize their glows with lunar or tidal rhythms, producing spectacles that are predictable yet ephemeral. Patterns that repeat over centuries yet vanish with the dawn. In this temporal dimension, the glow becomes a form of memory, a way for life to record its presence, to leave traces that ripple through space and time. Observing these patterns, one begins to sense the deep, patient intelligence of natural rhythms, the quiet persistence of life's pulse, and the delicate interweaving of events that span eons. Beyond the chemical and biological intricacies, there is a spiritual and emotional resonance in witnessing these glows. To float amid millions of softly illuminated cells is to feel a connection to something greater, an awareness that life itself is not merely survival but also expression. The light becomes a mirror to our own existence, reflecting both fragility and resilience, intimacy and vastness, solitude and communion. The ocean sun, boundless, transforms into a cathedral where the glow of cells offers a liturgy of subtle beauty, a meditation on life and an invitation to perceive the world with gentleness, patience and wonder. Even in controlled laboratory environments, scientists marvel at the behavior of luminous cells. They watch how flashes propagate, how intensity varies with chemical changes, how certain patterns emerge spontaneously. Yet despite all measurements, graphs and models, the living reality of these glows retains an ineffable quality, a soft enchantment that no instrumentation can fully capture. There is a poetry in bioluminescence, a language that is part science and part art, a gentle reminder that some of the world's most profound truths are revealed not through forceful observation, but through quiet attention and patient witnessing. Life itself seems to resonate in harmony with these glowing cells. The processes that produce light, though microscopic, echo the larger rhythms of ecosystems, the interplay of predator and prey, the cycles of energy, the balance of survival and beauty. Each photon released is a testament to the subtle engineering of life, a delicate proof that even the smallest organism participates in a vast symphony of existence. Watching the glow, one can almost hear a quiet music, a soft hum that transcends words, connecting the observer to both the minute and the infinite, to the immediate pulse of life and the timeless rhythm of the oceans. In contemplating the glow, one begins to sense its connection to all living processes. Light, after all, is not merely illumination, it is energy, communication, and sometimes even sustenance. Just as plants convert sunlight into chemical energy through photosynthesis, so too do these glowing cells convert chemical energy into light, revealing the universe's hidden mechanisms in a form that touches the senses as well as the mind. Each flash is a whisper of the fundamental principles that govern life: energy transformation, adaptation, survival, and beauty. And in the interplay of these elements, the glow becomes not just a phenomenon, but a meditation, a gentle reflection on existence itself. Even when we leave the glowing waters behind, the impression lingers, a quiet memory etched in our minds. The soft pulses of light remind us that life has 1,000 subtle languages, many of which we are only beginning to understand. Bioluminescence teaches patience, observation, and appreciation for the small, almost invisible details that sustain ecosystems and enrich our perception of the world. It is a reminder that even in darkness there is life, there is beauty, and there is expression, waiting for those who take the time to look, to listen, and to feel the quiet brilliance that the world holds within its smallest cells. As the currents of the deep ocean sway gently around us, the glow of countless cells continues its quiet symphony, a performance that has unfolded for millions of years, long before humans ever dreamed of observing it. Each flash, each wave of light seems to echo across time, a pulse that binds past and present in an almost tangible continuity. It is as if the ocean itself has learned to speak in photons, to convey the subtle poetry of existence through the medium of chemical light. To watch this is to witness patience incarnate, the slow shaping of survival into art, the refinement of life's most delicate instruments over the sweep of geological time. The patterns of bioluminescence carry stories both simple and profound. Some flashes warn, some attract, some confuse, yet all are expressions of adaptation and ingenuity. The tiny organisms producing these lights are bound by the same laws of physics and chemistry as the grandest stars. Yet their artistry is intimate and immediate, a dialogue conducted in the language of light that bridges the gulf between life forms. Predators and prey alike participate in this exchange, each responding instinctively to signals older than memory, yet still vibrant, still alive, and still capable of teaching us the nuances of perception, attention, and response in a world governed by subtle cues and invisible threads. Every glowing cell carries within it a universe of processes, enzymatic reactions, electron transfers, molecular vibrations. In observing these, one begins to sense that life is itself a dance of energy, a choreography of molecules that manifests as light, movement, and ultimately experience. The glow is a manifestation of a principle as old as matter itself. That energy flows, transforms, and expresses. Each luminescent flash is a stanza in a poem written by evolution, a quiet assertion that even in darkness, life finds a way to be known, to be felt, to be recognized. The ocean, in its patient rhythm, becomes both canvas and witness, hosting a spectacle that is simultaneously scientific and deeply aesthetic. As we follow the luminous trails through the dark waters, the interconnectedness of life becomes apparent. Some organisms have evolved symbiotic relationships, hosting glowing bacteria that benefit both host and guest. In return for sustenance and shelter, these bacteria light up the host in patterns that may mimic prey, attract mates, or communicate with neighbours. This delicate balance is a testament to cooperation, mutual dependence, and subtlety. The understanding that survival is not merely competition, but also communication, coordination, and respect for the environment. The glow thus becomes a symbol, a reminder that even in isolation, life remains bound to life, and that beauty is often inseparable from function. The visual poetry of bioluminescence also resonates with human perception. When we peer into these glowing waters, we are invited to slow down, to notice small details, to appreciate the temporal and spatial patterns that might otherwise escape our attention. The ocean's light does not demand observation. It offers it gently, softly, like a whispered secret. In this patience, in the unhurried unfolding of flashes and flickers, there is a lesson in mindfulness, a model for how to attend to the world, quietly, fully, and with curiosity untainted by urgency. Even the act of watching becomes a meditation, a practice in presence and openness, where each flash is both phenomenon and metaphor, and yet, despite all we understand, much remains mysterious. Scientists measure, record, and theorize, Yet the lived experience of a glowing organism, its perception of light and environment, remains beyond our reach. We can model the chemistry, map the patterns, and predict responses, but the inner life, if any, of these luminous beings is a realm we can only imagine. In this acknowledgement of mystery lies both humility and wonder, a recognition that the natural world contains depths unplumbed and secrets that reward gentle attention more than aggressive inquiry. The ocean teaches us to value observation over ownership, understanding over certainty, and empathy over domination. The rhythm of luminescence also echoes larger natural cycles. Many deep-sea creatures time their flashes to tidal or lunar rhythms, synchronizing life with celestial motions. In this, we see a reflection of time itself, cyclical, recurring, and interwoven across scales. Each organism, through its tiny flashes, participates in a larger cosmic rhythm, demonstrating that life is not isolated, but integrated into the pulse of the planet and the universe. These subtle synchronizations evoke a sense of harmony, an understanding that even the smallest pulses contribute to the grandeur of existence, that the quiet work of survival and communication resonates through scales both immense and minute. As the night unfolds, the collective glow becomes almost musical, a quiet orchestra of photons where intensity and timing vary like notes and tempo, creating a composition that is ever-changing yet consistent in its beauty. The cells communicate in a language older than our own, a rhythm that speaks to instinct and intuition rather than words. To immerse oneself in this spectacle is to feel part of a continuum, a chain of life that stretches from the simplest microorganisms to the vast ecosystems they inhabit. It is a reminder that even the smallest beings possess creativity, intelligence, and expression, and that the boundaries of art and science are more permeable than we often realize. By the end of this journey, one comes to appreciate the gentle resilience encoded in bioluminescence. Each flash represents a successful adaptation, a response to environmental pressure, a story of survival whispered in light. Yet these stories are not violent or harsh. They are tender, subtle, and full of quiet intelligence. There is patience in their rhythm, precision in their chemistry, and beauty in their execution. In these tiny flashes, we witness the triumph of subtlety over force, of connection over isolation, of elegance over brute strength. Life, in all its forms, demonstrates that survival need not preclude grace, and that beauty and functionality can coexist in perfect harmony. Finally, as the glow begins to fade with the approach of dawn, leaving behind faint traces of light in the water, we are left with a profound sense of serenity. The experience lingers, a memory of gentle illumination, a meditation on the quiet intelligence and artistry of life. We depart with the understanding that the world is full of such subtle marvels, that beauty exists in the interplay of chemistry and physics, of survival and expression, and that even in darkness, life finds a way to shine. The quiet symphony of bioluminescence teaches us to observe, to listen and to feel, reminding us that the world's most profound wonders often unfold in silence, patience, and gentle light. In the soft hush of early morning, the forest breathes in rhythms we rarely notice, a quiet cadence that predates human memory. Sunlight filters through the leaves in gentle beams, and the air shimmers with particles that sparkle like tiny prisms suspended in space. Beneath this delicate light, the forest is alive not only with sound, but with an almost imperceptible sense of timing. Plants, rooted and patient, are attuned to this rhythm. They count the hours with astonishing precision, unfolding leaves, opening flowers, and releasing scents in synchrony with the sun's slow arc across the sky. This is the story of how plants keep time, not with clocks or calendars, but with internal rhythms as old and steady as life itself. Deep inside each leaf, tiny molecular clocks tick with an almost mystical precision. Proteins and genes coordinate in cycles that repeat roughly every 24 hours, creating patterns of activity that govern growth, energy production, and response to light. These circadian rhythms are universal in the plant kingdom, shaping the lives of species as different as towering oaks, delicate wildflowers, and the mosses carpeting the forest floor. Imagine each plant as a quiet orchestra, where the conductor is invisible, yet every note is played exactly when it should be. The unfolding of a leaf at dawn, the closing of petals at dusk, the gentle exhalation of oxygen, all are movements in a symphony that has been perfected over millions of years. The mechanisms behind this internal timing are both intricate and elegant. Special proteins accumulate in plant cells, gradually increasing during certain hours and then breaking down as the day progresses. Light itself acts as both guide and messenger, influencing these molecular rhythms in subtle ways. The interplay between internal clocks and environmental cues creates a fluid harmony, allowing plants to anticipate changes rather than merely react to them. When dawn approaches, leaves tilt to catch the earliest rays, flowers release nectar in anticipation of visiting pollinators, and roots adjust their growth in preparation for the day's cycles. Every action is premeditated in a dance that humans only began to understand in the last century, yet it has been playing for eons. This quiet precision has profound effects on the ecosystem. Pollinators, from bees to butterflies, rely on predictable signals of flowering and nectar production. Herbivores time their feeding around leaf availability, while predators synchronize hunting with prey activity. Even fungi and microorganisms participate, responding to subtle cues in the plant's chemical emissions. In this way, the circadian rhythms of plants ripple outward, orchestrating the timing of life across layers of complexity. It is a reminder that life is rarely solitary. Even rooted organisms communicate through patterns of light, scent, and growth, shaping their environment and guiding countless other lives with their silent precision. There is also a poetic beauty in this careful counting of hours. Leaves may seem motionless, yet they are in constant flux, rotating, twisting, and adjusting in a choreography invisible to the hurried eye. Flowers open in sequences that create waves of colour and fragrance, each bloom appearing at precisely the right moment to maximize interaction with pollinators. In shaded undergrowth, ferns unfurl slowly, curling like delicate scrolls that record the passage of time in their shape and orientation. Each movement is deliberate, and yet it appears effortless. A living meditation on patience, timing, and anticipation. To witness this is to feel the pulse of life itself, steady and reassuring, whispering that the world operates in rhythms larger than our immediate perception. Consider the molecular storytelling that occurs in every plant cell. Proteins named for their rhythmic behavior act as timekeepers, cycling between activity and rest, influencing metabolism, growth, and stress responses. These cycles are synchronized not only with light and temperature, but also with other cellular signals, creating networks of feedback that maintain equilibrium. The sophistication of these internal clocks rivals any human-made mechanism, yet they are entirely organic, grown from the processes of evolution rather than engineered with intent. In each cell, one can sense a quiet intelligence, a solution to the challenges of survival that is both practical and profoundly beautiful, a testament to the inventiveness inherent in life itself. The forest, when observed in this light, becomes a vast calendar, a living chronometer that measures days, seasons, and even years. Spring arrives with a rush of buds and blossoms, summer with a full canopy of green, autumn with slow decay and preparation for dormancy, and winter with the patient gathering of energy for the cycle to begin anew. Plants are the ultimate timekeepers, not with rigid numerals or devices, but with a subtle attunement to the environment, a mastery of anticipation and adaptation. Each plant's response to light, gravity, and temperature is a reminder that life is most often rhythmic rather than random, orchestrated rather than chaotic, and that the simplest beings may hold the most profound wisdom about the passage of time. Even human beings are touched by this rhythm, whether we notice it or not. Walking through a forest, one may feel an inexplicable sense of calm, a synchrony with the slow, deliberate pace of plant life. Research shows that exposure to natural cycles of light and darkness enhances mood, regulates hormones, and improves sleep, hinting that our own internal clocks are subtly aligned with those of the plant kingdom. The more we attune ourselves to these rhythms, the more we participate in the ancient dialogue between living things, sensing the intricate timing that sustains ecosystems and offers lessons in patience, balance, and harmony. In exploring how plants count the hours, we also glimpse the quiet artistry embedded in survival. Timing is not merely functional, it is expressive. The coordinated unfolding of leaves, the staggered blooming of flowers, and the precise release of scents create a subtle narrative, a story of life that communicates across species and generations. Each action, though small and silent, contributes to a greater coherence, a tapestry woven from countless threads of anticipation and response. Observing this allows one to experience wonder without urgency, curiosity without pressure, and a profound appreciation for the interconnectedness that sustains life at every scale. Ultimately, understanding plant rhythms is more than a scientific endeavour. It is an invitation to slow down, to notice and to participate gently in the cadence of the world. When we attune ourselves to these rhythms, we cultivate patience and presence, learning from organisms that have perfected timing over eons. The forest becomes not merely a backdrop but a guide, teaching through example how life can flourish in harmony with cycles larger than ourselves. Each leaf, each flower, each delicate tendril reminds us that time is not only measured by minutes and hours, but by the unfolding of life, the anticipation of light, and the steady, unhurried dance of existence that continues long after we have left its shadow. As the day stretches forward, the forest pulses with a rhythm that is both delicate and insistent, a quiet symphony that moves beneath the surface of human perception. Sunlight shifts gradually, filtering through the leaves and casting patterns that drift slowly across the forest floor. In these moving mosaics, plants respond with an almost imperceptible awareness, adjusting the angles of their leaves, opening or closing tiny pores, and redirecting the flow of nutrients to match the invisible cadence of the day. Each plant is a guardian of its own timing, sensing not only the light and shadow, but also the subtle vibrations that ripple through the soil, carried by wind, water, and the movement of nearby creatures. There is a dialogue occurring here, a soft conversation between living things that humans can sense only in fragments, yet it is real, tangible, and full of meaning. Roots explore the earth in search of water and minerals, guided not by random motion, but by chemical gradients and subtle environmental cues. The tips of roots elongate and curve with astonishing precision, avoiding obstacles, connecting with symbiotic fungi, and anchoring the plant in place while also communicating with neighbours through chemical signals. This subterranean network forms an intricate web, where the timing of growth is as vital as the direction. Roots that extend too quickly may miss critical nutrients, while those that lag behind may fail to anchor the plant during storms. The rhythm of growth is therefore a careful negotiation with the environment, a silent choreography that requires both patience and responsiveness. In this way, time for plants is not only measured in hours or days, but in the subtle exchange of resources, the careful balance of needs, and the anticipation of change. Above ground, leaves perform a quiet dance, tilting, rotating, and adjusting their surfaces to capture sunlight with maximum efficiency. This is not random motion, but a response guided by internal clocks, feedback loops, and an intricate sense of orientation. Chloroplasts within the cells move in response to light intensity, optimizing photosynthesis while preventing damage from excessive exposure. Every shift, every subtle adjustment is a reflection of the plant's ability to anticipate, to respond in a manner that is both protective and productive. In forests where light is scarce, such movements become even more critical, as competition for sunlight is fierce, and survival hinges on precision and timing. The slow, deliberate changes of leaves are a meditation on adaptation, a visual representation of the rhythms that govern life. Flowers, too, participate in this temporal ballet. They open and close in patterns that are synchronized with the activity of pollinators, releasing scents that are strongest when insects and birds are most active. Nectar production follows a similar schedule, a subtle offering timed to the arrival of creatures that will carry pollen and ensure reproduction. In this way, the success of one species is entwined with the rhythms of others, creating an ecological choreography where timing is not optional but essential. It is a delicate balance, a shared understanding written in chemical signals, colour changes, and the movement of petals, a language without words but full of purpose and meaning. To witness a flower opening in the early hours is to glimpse a quiet strategy, a patient preparation for interaction that will shape the next generation. Even the forest floor participates in this orchestrated timing. Mosses, fungi, and small plants adjust their activities according to the cycles of light and moisture, creating microcosms of rhythm that complement the larger patterns above. Mushrooms may release spores at precise moments when the humidity and temperature are ideal, ensuring that new life has the best chance to thrive. Mosses swell with water during the night and release it gradually during the day, maintaining a delicate balance that supports not only their own survival, but also the creatures and plants around them. Each layer of the ecosystem pulses with time-sensitive activity, and the interactions between layers form a network of cycles that is both complex and harmonious. This intricate interplay reminds us that time is not a singular concept, but a shared property of life, experienced differently by each organism yet woven into a coherent whole. At a molecular level, the circadian rhythms that guide these behaviors are maintained by feedback loops of proteins and genes that oscillate with remarkable consistency. Light, temperature, and internal chemical signals all converge to influence these cycles, ensuring that the plant's internal clock remains in harmony with the external environment. Disruptions to these rhythms can affect growth, flowering, and overall health, underscoring the importance of timing in life's delicate balance. The precision of these molecular mechanisms is awe-inspiring, a reminder that even the smallest organisms possess sophisticated systems honed by evolution over millennia. Each plant, in maintaining its rhythms, demonstrates a quiet mastery of time, a form of intelligence that is expressed through patience, adaptation, and a deep attunement to the world around it. The forest, when seen through this lens, becomes a vast network of temporal awareness, where every living organism contributes to a collective understanding of time. Bees track the opening of flowers, birds adjust their songs to the hours of daylight, and fungi release nutrients in synchrony with root growth. Even the wind and rain follow seasonal patterns, shaping the cycles of life in ways that are predictable yet endlessly varied. This web of timing is delicate but resilient, a testament to the power of life to organize itself without central control, relying instead on countless individual actions guided by internal and external rhythms. Observing this harmony evokes a sense of wonder and humility, a recognition that life's success depends as much on timing as on strength, size, or speed. The poetry of plant rhythms extends beyond survival and reproduction. It shapes the aesthetics of the world, creating patterns and sequences that humans perceive as beauty. The staggered blooming of flowers, the slow unfurling of ferns, the rotation of leaves to catch the sun, all contribute to a visual and sensory rhythm that can calm the mind and awaken curiosity. These patterns invite reflection and contemplation, allowing us to experience time not as a hurried measurement, but as a flowing, living presence. In this way, the forest teaches through example, showing that life can be measured not only in minutes and hours, but in growth, response, and interaction, and that patience and attentiveness are as vital as any instinct or strategy. Through all of this, plants remind us that timing is not passive but active, a form of engagement with the world that is both deliberate and responsive. They anticipate, adjust, and communicate, weaving their own lives into a greater temporal fabric that supports countless other organisms. To walk among them is to witness a continuous negotiation with time, a dialogue that is invisible yet palpable, quiet yet profound. Every leaf tilt, every petal opening, every root extension is a note in this ongoing symphony, a message of adaptation and harmony that resonates across the forest. By observing and attuning ourselves to these rhythms, we not only gain insight into the mechanisms of life, but also connect more deeply with the subtle pulse that sustains ecosystems, reminding us that we are participants in a temporal dance far larger and older than ourselves. In the end, understanding the ways plants count the hours allows us to step into a slower, more attentive experience of the world. It invites us to notice the rhythm in our own lives, to align ourselves with cycles of growth and rest, action and reflection. In a forest where every organism plays its part with quiet precision, time becomes more than a sequence of numbers. It becomes a living, breathing presence that can guide our perception, our actions, and our sense of belonging. The interplay of light, growth, and molecular rhythm teaches that life thrives in harmony with the natural cadence of the world, and that even the smallest adjustments made with awareness and patience can resonate through entire ecosystems. The forest, in its quiet wisdom, asks only that we observe, learn, and move gently within its flow, respecting the timing that sustains all life. As dusk drifts softly over the forest, the last rays of sunlight filter through the canopy, brushing leaves with a golden hue and casting long, gentle shadows across the forest floor. In these quiet moments, the world seems to slow, and the intricate patterns of plant life, so often unnoticed, reveal themselves in subtle movements and whispered exchanges. Flowers begin to fold their petals, leaves tilt away from the fading light, and the gentle rhythm of the forest transitions into a softer, nocturnal cadence. It is a moment of reflection, a pause in the cycle, where each organism aligns itself with the coming night, drawing on internal clocks and environmental cues to anticipate the darkness. This preparation is both practical and poetic, a serene choreography that speaks of resilience, adaptation, and the quiet intelligence of life. Roots continue their silent exploration, extending into the cool, moist soil where water and nutrients await. Though hidden from view, this subterranean activity is essential, a reminder that life's most vital movements often occur beneath the surface. The roots exchange chemical messages with neighbouring plants and fungi, coordinating growth and resource distribution with a subtle, almost imperceptible understanding. These networks are dynamic and responsive, adjusting to the needs of the community as well as the individual, ensuring stability and balance even as the world above shifts from day to night. It is a dance without spectators, performed in darkness yet full of purpose, a testament to the quiet ingenuity that sustains life on scales both microscopic and immense. Above ground, the leaves continue to adjust, responding not only to the dimming light but also to humidity, temperature, and the gentle movements of the air. Each leaf acts as a sensor and responder, a living instrument in the forest's ongoing symphony. Chloroplasts slow their movement as photosynthesis winds down, energy storage increases, and protective pigments prepare for the night's cooler temperatures. The coordination of these changes, both within individual plants and across the ecosystem, reflects a deep attunement to the passage of time. It is a harmony that requires no conscious thought, yet the elegance of its timing is striking, a reminder that life thrives when attuned to rhythms that extend beyond the perception of humans. Flowers, having completed their daily cycle of attracting pollinators, begin to close their petals gently, conserving energy and protecting their reproductive structures through the night. The fading scents that drew insects and birds gradually diminish, leaving only traces for those attuned to the faintest chemical signals. Nectar production slows, pollen settles into readiness for the next day, and the floral dance that marks the hours of light comes to a quiet pause. Each of these changes is both functional and poetic, a manifestation of the plant's deep engagement with time. Observing these subtle shifts, one senses a mindfulness embedded in life itself, a rhythm that flows naturally, without the urgency that often dominates human existence. Fungi and mosses on the forest floor also participate in this nightly transformation. Fungi release spores in response to temperature drops and increased humidity, while mosses swell with moisture absorbed from the cool night air. These activities, though minute and often unnoticed, are critical to the continued health of the ecosystem. Nutrient cycles are maintained, soil structure is enriched, and relationships between organisms are strengthened. Even the smallest elements of the forest are active participants in this shared temporal rhythm, reminding us that life operates in interconnected layers, each sensitive to changes in both immediate and distant conditions. The nighttime movements of these organisms contribute to the overall harmony, a silent confirmation that every action, no matter how small, resonates through the ecosystem. Insects and nocturnal creatures begin their own routines, guided by the shifting light and the scents and signals left by plants. Moths navigate using chemical trails, beetles forage along leaf litter, and bats glide silently through the canopy, feeding on insects that are themselves responding to the forest rhythms. Every movement is part of a broader temporal orchestration, a network of behaviors that synchronizes with the cycles of plants, fungi, and the abiotic environment. This seamless integration of life across species illustrates a profound understanding of time in the natural world, where anticipation, response, and adaptation are continuously intertwined. There is no rush, no drama, only the patient unfolding of life in harmony with its surroundings. At a molecular level, the circadian rhythms that govern these processes operate with remarkable precision. Feedback loops of proteins and genes continue to oscillate in response to environmental cues, ensuring that each plant remains synchronized with the broader ecosystem. Even as external light fades, internal mechanisms maintain readiness for the next cycle of activity, preparing the organism for growth, repair, and reproduction. This internal timing is a quiet marvel, an invisible clock that allows life to flourish in alignment with the rhythms of day and night. The coordination of these molecular processes with visible behaviors emphasizes that timing is as much a feature of the unseen as of the seen, a foundational principle that sustains the flow of life. The forest at night is also a lesson in patience and presence. Shadows lengthen, the air cools, and every movement seems deliberate, measured, and thoughtful. The gentle unfolding of leaves, the slow growth of roots, the timed release of spores, all create a living meditation on the passage of time. In observing these rhythms, humans can attune themselves to a slower, more mindful experience, one that encourages reflection, attentiveness, and a sense of connection to the cycles of the natural world. The forest's temporal patterns become a guide, teaching that life thrives when aligned with the subtle cadences of the environment, rather than in resistance to them. As the night deepens, a sense of quiet culmination settles over the forest. The day's activities have concluded, yet the forest remains alive with latent energy and ongoing processes, invisible but no less vital. Each organism rests in a state of readiness, poised to respond to the first light of dawn. The interplay of anticipation, response, and adaptation continues even in stillness, a testament to the resilience and intelligence inherent in life's rhythms. The forest teaches that time is not simply a linear progression, but a cyclical, layered experience, rich with interconnected movements and shared understanding. In the final moments before dawn, the forest seems to exhale softly, preparing for the gentle return of light. Leaves shimmer with the night's dew, petals quiver with residual scent, and roots retain moisture that will nourish growth. The rhythm of life is continuous, unbroken, and harmonious, a symphony that carries forward into the coming day. Observing this, one is reminded of the profound patience and awareness that define the natural world, a subtle lesson in alignment, attentiveness, and the beauty of timing. The forest, in its quiet wisdom, offers a gentle closure. Life moves not in haste, but in harmony with the pulse of the earth, inviting all who watch to learn the art of being in rhythm with the world around them. High above the quiet valleys and rolling hills, the night sky stretches in an endless canvas of soft indigo, dotted with silver sparks that shimmer like ancient lanterns suspended in darkness. Each star is a distant sun, burning steadily, yet so far away that their light carries stories from a time long before our own existence. The air is cool, carrying the subtle scent of earth and leaves, and as we look upward, we can almost feel the immense scale of the cosmos settling gently around us, a quiet presence that invites wonder without urgency. Here, among the stars, the mind drifts, and the imagination floats in a serene orbit, circling questions that have captivated humans for millennia. How did the universe begin, and why does it stretch endlessly beyond our grasp? Though the answers remain elusive, the pursuit itself becomes a kind of meditation, a soft exploration of the infinite. Galaxies spiral gracefully across the darkness, their luminous arms weaving patterns of light and shadow that resemble delicate brushstrokes across a cosmic canvas. Some contain billions of stars, each with its own planets, possibly harbouring life, though invisible to our eyes. The scale is dizzying, yet there is a gentle rhythm in this vastness, a quiet pulse that echoes through the void. Black holes anchor some galaxies, mysterious and invisible, bending light and matter around them in ways we are only beginning to understand. These cosmic phenomena, once unimaginable, now appear as natural elements in the universe's slow unfolding story. Observing them encourages a sense of humility, a reminder that life on our small blue planet is but a single note in a vast, intricate symphony. Closer to home, our own solar system moves in silent harmony, the planets tracing elliptical paths around the sun in patterns that have been repeated for billions of years. Each planet spins and tilts in its own rhythm, some wrapped in clouds that shimmer with storms, others draped in ice and silence. Even the smallest moons participate in this quiet dance, their surfaces bearing witness to ancient collisions and slow, steady evolution. The gravitational interactions that guide these celestial movements are precise and unrelenting, yet there is a beauty in their predictability, a serene elegance that transcends the need for human observation. In this cosmic ballet, each body plays its role, and the universe moves with patient grace, revealing its patterns to those who pause to watch. Within this grandeur, we can imagine the gentle exchange of energy and matter, invisible but constant, flowing between stars, planets, and the spaces between. Photons journey across unimaginable distances, carrying light that has travelled for millennia before reaching our eyes. Cosmic dust drifts through interstellar space, the raw material from which new stars and planets will one day be born. Even the vacuum of space is not empty but filled with the subtle hum of radiation, magnetic fields and particles in motion, a quiet vitality that underlies the apparent stillness. There is a rhythm here too, an expansive pulse that suggests the universe itself is alive in ways we can feel but not fully comprehend. As we drift further in thought, the cycles of time on Earth become intertwined with cosmic time, and the slow rotation of our planet mirrors the steady turning of celestial bodies above. Night and day alternate in predictable succession, each sunrise and sunset painting the sky with delicate shades of colour that reflect off clouds and oceans alike. The moon rises and sets, influencing tides with a gentle hand, while the planets move silently in their distant paths, unaffected yet connected by the same forces that govern gravity and motion. In this way, life on Earth is inextricably linked to the broader rhythms of the cosmos, a delicate alignment that allows ecosystems, weather, and even our own bodies to follow patterns shaped by forces both near and distant. The stars themselves tell stories of creation and transformation. Through the lens of telescopes, we witness supernovae exploding with brilliant intensity, seeding the surrounding space with elements that will one day form new stars, planets, and perhaps life itself. Nebulae drift in graceful clouds, colourful and ethereal, nurseries of celestial birth where gravity and chemistry combine to shape the future. These processes occur over timescales that dwarf human experience, yet they resonate in a quiet, persistent rhythm that can be felt if one listens closely. The universe is both ancient and present, a living archive of time, and within it, every atom of our bodies shares a history that stretches back to these stellar forges. Even the voids between galaxies, seemingly empty, are filled with subtle activity. Streams of gas flow slowly across intergalactic space, pulled by gravity toward massive clusters. Dark matter, though invisible, exerts its influence, guiding the formation of structures in ways we are only beginning to perceive. Cosmic microwave background radiation whispers secrets from the birth of the universe, a faint hum that persists across billions of years. These phenomena, though silent and unseen, contribute to the universe's persistent coherence, a quiet orchestration that maintains balance and allows complexity to emerge. The night sky, then, is not merely a backdrop, but an active participant in the unfolding story of existence, a reminder of the intricate systems that operate beyond our immediate senses. Observing these celestial rhythms from Earth, we also witness the interplay of light and perspective, the way stars twinkle due to atmospheric turbulence, and how planets shift slowly against the backdrop of the more distant suns. The constellations, stitched together by human imagination, offer a poetic framework to interpret the heavens, a gentle narrative imposed upon the natural order. Yet even without stories or myths, the night sky inspires awe, curiosity, and reflection. There is a calming effect in simply observing, in letting the mind wander among the planets and stars, imagining journeys across light years while remaining rooted in the quiet of one's surroundings. This interplay between imagination and observation deepens our connection to the cosmos, fostering both humility and wonder. As our attention shifts to the faint glimmer of distant galaxies, one can almost feel the weight of cosmic history. Each photon that reaches us has traversed time itself, carrying information from epochs long past. We are, in a sense, observers not just of space but of history, witnesses to events that occurred millions or even billions of years ago. This perspective invites a quiet meditation on temporality, on the fleeting nature of human life compared to the vast durations of cosmic evolution. And yet, within this immensity, there is intimacy, the atoms in our bodies, the light that illuminates our world, and the rhythms of life on Earth are all connected to the same cosmic story. In this realization, awe blends with tranquility, and the vastness of the universe becomes not intimidating, but gently humbling, like a lullaby whispered across the night sky. Within this vast tapestry, our imagination can wander to the possibilities of life beyond Earth, planets orbiting distant stars in zones where conditions might allow organisms to thrive. Perhaps they too watch their night skies with curiosity, feeling a similar sense of wonder and connection. These thoughts invite reflection on the universality of curiosity, on the shared experience of looking outward and contemplating existence. Even in the quiet solitude of our observations, we participate in a larger, timeless pursuit, one that spans cultures, generations, and species, all seeking to understand and resonate with the cosmos. In this gentle pursuit, science becomes a form of meditation, a way to align the mind with the rhythms of the universe, to find peace in understanding both vastness and connection. As dawn begins to hint at the horizon, the night sky gradually softens, its deep indigo replaced by pale blues and gentle pinks. Stars fade one by one, their light swallowed by the growing sun, yet the memory of their brilliance lingers in the mind. The universe continues its quiet movements, planets orbiting, galaxies spinning, stars burning, and the vast machinery of space unfolding in endless cycles. From this serene vantage, we recognize the intricate interplay of forces, the patience and harmony embedded in cosmic time, and the gentle rhythms that link the smallest atom to the largest celestial body. The night sky, once dark and infinite, now becomes a canvas for the new day, a reminder that each moment is part of a larger, continuous story, unfolding with grace and quiet beauty. As the first golden rays of sunlight stretch across the horizon, painting the landscape in soft hues of amber and rose, the subtle rhythms of life awaken from their nocturnal slumber. Dew clings to the blades of grass like tiny prisms, reflecting the morning light in delicate bursts of colour that dance across the ground. Birds stir gently in their nests, their songs cautious at first, then swelling into harmonious choruses that ripple through the cool air. In these quiet moments, the world feels suspended between night and day, a liminal space where observation and reflection merge seamlessly. One can almost hear the soft pulse of energy that animates the earth itself, a heartbeat felt in the sway of trees, the slow ascent of mist, and the gentle stirrings of creatures emerging from darkness into light. The forest awakens gradually, each layer of life responding to the dawn in its own way. Moss-covered rocks exude a damp, earthy scent as a morning moisture seeps into their crevices. Fern unfurl slowly, their fronds glistening under the tender touch of sunlight. Tiny insects begin to move along the forest floor, navigating intricate networks of leaf litter and roots with remarkable precision. Each movement, each vibration in the undergrowth contributes to a subtle symphony of life, harmonized over millennia through evolution's patient guidance. It is here, amid these intricate networks of flora and fauna, that one begins to perceive the quiet intelligence woven into the natural world, a wisdom not spoken but deeply sensed through observation and presence. Water, that essential thread connecting every living organism, reflects and refracts the morning light with crystalline clarity. Streams and rivers meander lazily through valleys, carrying not only liquid but also stories of erosion, sediment, and the slow shaping of the land over ages. The rhythmic flow of water mirrors the flow of time itself, a continuous movement that can both carve canyons and nurture delicate ecosystems along its edges. Fish glide beneath the surface, their scales shimmering like liquid silver, while aquatic plants sway with each current, communicating silently through chemical signals that maintain balance and harmony. The water's song is both ancient and immediate, a melody that has existed long before human presence and will continue long after, carrying with it the quiet persistence of life. In the open fields, the dance of photosynthesis unfolds, invisible yet relentless. Leaves absorb sunlight and, through complex chemical alchemy, transform it into energy that sustains the plant, its roots, and countless dependent organisms. Pollinators move methodically from flower to flower, their delicate legs dusted with pollen, unknowingly completing cycles essential for reproduction and survival. Each interaction, seemingly mundane, is a critical thread in the tapestry of life, an intricate choreography honed by countless generations. Sunlight, water, and soil converge, and from these elemental interactions emerge vast networks of life, interconnected in ways both subtle and profound. Observing these processes fosters a gentle sense of awe, not at grandeur alone, but at the meticulous, patient precision of the living world. Above, the sky continues to shift in colour and tone, clouds drifting lazily, casting soft shadows over the terrain. Weather systems, often perceived as chaotic or violent, are in fact governed by the interplay of temperature, pressure, and moisture, creating patterns of remarkable predictability when viewed through the lens of physics and meteorology. The wind carries seeds, scents, and sounds across distances, connecting distant ecosystems in a quiet dialogue. Even storms, in their fierce energy, follow natural laws, dissipating heat, redistributing water, and contributing to the resilience of life below. Through these phenomena, we are reminded that even apparent disorder holds structure, a subtle order that underlies the movement of air, water, and energy across our planet. Time in the natural world unfolds in layers, some almost imperceptible, others visible in dramatic arcs. Seasons shift with elegant regularity, guiding migrations, blooms, and hibernations. Trees mark the passage of years in concentric rings, their growth a slow testimony to cycles of sun, rain, and temperature. Coral reefs, intricate and colourful, accrete over centuries, creating habitats that shelter multitudes of species. Even soil, often overlooked, embodies the patient accumulation of organic matter, microorganisms, and minerals, forming the foundation upon which life thrives. In witnessing these processes, we gain perspective on temporality, realizing that human perception of time is brief compared to the expansive rhythms that shape landscapes, oceans, and the organisms that inhabit them. The mind, attuned to these cycles, finds itself reflecting inward as well. Consciousness, in its quiet observation, mirrors the patterns of the natural world. Thought flows, pauses, and recombines like a river meandering through familiar terrain. Neurons fire, forming and dissolving connections in patterns reminiscent of ecological interactions, each synapse an echo of the intricate interplay between organisms and environments. Memory, like sediment, accumulates in layers, preserving traces of experiences while allowing adaptation and growth. This neural choreography is not unlike the ecosystems around us, dynamic, interconnected, and in constant motion, yet maintaining coherence and balance through invisible laws that orchestrate stability alongside change. The air hums with life, both seen and unseen. Microbes drift through soil and atmosphere, participating in nutrient cycles that sustain plant and animal communities. Fungi, often hidden beneath leaf litter, form networks that connect roots and trees across distances, enabling communication and resource sharing in a silent, patient symbiosis. Even in the apparent stillness of a meadow or forest, trillions of interactions occur simultaneously, each contributing to the stability and adaptability of the environment. There is a profound poetry in this microscopic world, a reminder that life's complexity often resides in dimensions too subtle for casual observation, yet indispensable for the continuity of the larger tapestry. The interplay between light and shadow continues to shape perception and experience. Morning brightness highlights textures, reveals contours, and ignites colours with gentle intensity, while shaded areas harbour quiet secrets, cool and protected. Insects, birds, and mammals navigate these variations instinctively, their behaviours tuned to gradients of temperature, illumination, and sound. Such responsiveness reflects evolutionary refinement over countless generations, an elegant attunement to environmental cues that ensures survival while maintaining harmony. As we witness these interactions, a sense of calm emerges, grounded in the realization that adaptation is not frantic but measured, an ongoing conversation between organism and habitat conducted with patience and grace. Life, in its myriad forms, communicates in ways both subtle and profound. Plants emit chemical signals that warn neighbours of herbivore attacks. Animals engage in ritualized displays of cooperation and competition, and microbes exchange genetic information with astonishing efficiency. These interactions resemble a network of messages flowing invisibly beneath the surface, a symphony of signals that maintains cohesion within ecosystems. The precision and timing of these communications evoke a quiet admiration, revealing intelligence not in language but in connection, persistence, and responsiveness. In contemplating this, we sense a harmony that mirrors our own need for understanding, an invitation to align our awareness with the rhythms of life that surround us. As midday approaches, the warmth of the sun fosters movement, growth, and interaction. Shadows shorten, water warms, and animals emerge to forage, hunt, or socialize, each action performed in the context of larger cycles. Energy is transferred, transformed, and conserved in a continuous loop, sustaining both individuals and communities. This dynamic equilibrium demonstrates the elegance of natural systems where efficiency and redundancy coexist, ensuring resilience against perturbation. Observing this, one can perceive a reflection of cosmic principles. The same laws governing planetary orbits and stellar evolution are mirrored in ecological processes, binding scales from microscopic to galactic into a coherent framework. Finally, as afternoon drifts toward evening, light softens once more, hinting at the cyclical nature of all things. Shadows lengthen, the air cools, and creatures prepare for the next phase of their daily rhythms. Rivers shimmer with late sunlight, leaves rustle with gentle breezes, and distant mountains glow with warm, fading tones. In this transitional space, reflection deepens. The continuity of life, the interplay of energy, and the patience inherent in natural processes all become evident. These moments evoke a quiet gratitude, a recognition that each element, no matter how small or immense, participates in a vast interconnected dance, moving forward with grace, resilience, and gentle persistence. Evening arrives with a soft sigh, the sky painted in pale lilacs and tender oranges that melt into the horizon. Shadows stretch long across the landscape and the air carries a faint chill, mingling with the lingering warmth of the day. As the light dims, the subtle movements of the world become more pronounced, more intimate. The flutter of leaves, the slow drift of pollen, the quiet murmur of distant water. In these hours, life seems to pause in gentle contemplation, a fleeting moment where awareness deepens and the rhythms of nature become almost palpable. The wind moves slowly, carrying with it scents of earth, grass, and distant blooms, as though whispering secrets from one end of the world to the other. It is in this hush that one begins to sense the delicate balance of existence, the interplay between activity and rest, motion and stillness, consciousness and dream. Beneath the shelter of trees, the forest transforms into a sanctuary of muted sounds. Tiny creatures begin their nocturnal routines, emerging cautiously from hidden burrows and crevices. Owls glide silently overhead, their eyes reflecting faint glimmers of light, while crickets begin their rhythmic serenade, echoing across meadows and shadowed glens. Even in the apparent darkness, life continues with subtle energy, each organism performing its role with patient precision. The patterns of movement, communication, and adaptation become a quiet meditation, revealing the persistence of life through cycles of light and shadow. It is as if the forest itself exhales, releasing the accumulated energy of the day and preparing for the gentle demands of night. Rivers and streams take on a silvery glow, mirroring the first twinkles of emerging stars. Water, always in motion, continues to carry stories from upstream, shaping banks, nourishing plants, and sustaining countless creatures with patient devotion. Fish glide beneath the surface, navigating the subtle currents with instinctive grace, while amphibians and insects join in a quiet nocturnal rhythm that balances the ecosystem. The movement of water reminds us that life is never truly still, that even in rest there is energy, and in stillness there is constant flow. Observing this, one senses a profound continuity, a reminder that existence is an unbroken thread connecting every living being through space and time. As darkness deepens, the stars emerge like scattered diamonds across the night sky. Constellations tell stories as old as human memory, mapping cycles of seasons, migration, and cosmic rhythms. The same atoms that drift in distant nebulae, shaped by fiery explosions and cosmic winds, exist in the forests, rivers, and creatures below, linking the vastness of the universe to the intimacy of life on Earth. Nebulae, pulsars, and planets follow predictable patterns, their movements echoing the precision found in cellular interactions, plant cycles, and ecological rhythms. In this way, the cosmos mirrors the quiet order of life, both expansive and intricate, infinite yet intimately connected to every observation, every breath, and every subtle shift in the environment. Within the soil, unseen networks continue their work. Fungi, bacteria, and microscopic organisms decompose, recycle, and communicate through chemical signals that sustain the forest. Roots intertwine, exchanging nutrients, water, and information, forming a hidden web that ensures survival and resilience. This underground world is a mirror to the neurons in the human brain, firing, connecting, and reorganizing, each signal essential for the stability of the whole. Life below ground is as active and vital as that above, a quiet testament to the interconnectedness of existence. One begins to recognize that energy flows not only through visible motion, but also through subtle, invisible channels that sustain and nurture life across scales and species. The evening air is filled with soft vibrations of communication, calls of nocturnal birds, rustling leaves, and distant echoes of animal movements. Chemical signals drift invisibly, messages of territory, mating readiness, and warnings weaving a silent conversation that binds the ecosystem together. Every interaction, however minute, contributes to the balance and resilience of the environment, a dance of interdependence that has evolved over countless generations. Observing this, a deep sense of humility arises, a recognition that our human perception only glimpses fragments of a vast, intricate tapestry of life, each thread woven with patience, intelligence, and care. In the quiet of twilight, the mind reflects the patterns observed in the natural world. Thoughts meander, forming connections, dissolving, and recombining like rivers meeting tributaries, like wind bending leaves in fleeting gusts. Memories surface gently, layered like sediment, each one a trace of experience, of observation, of presence. Consciousness mirrors the environment, dynamic, responsive, and interconnected. Just as the forest thrives through communication, adaptation, and patient growth, so does the mind flourish when attention is given to subtle details, when curiosity and wonder are allowed to drift freely, and when observation leads to reflection rather than judgment. Creatures large and small begin to settle as the night deepens. Nocturnal predators hunt with patient precision, while prey species remain vigilant yet calm, relying on instinct honed over generations. Even in moments of tension, the ecosystem maintains a rhythm, a balance that prevents chaos from overwhelming harmony. There is a poetry in this equilibrium, an unspoken wisdom in the way energy, movement, and adaptation coexist. Observing such interactions fosters quiet contemplation, an appreciation for resilience, and a recognition of the subtle intelligence inherent in natural systems. Life's complexity is not always visible in dramatic moments, but often resides in the gentle, continuous processes that sustain existence quietly, reliably, beautifully. Above, the night sky deepens to a rich indigo, punctuated by constellations and the faint glow of distant galaxies. Time seems to expand, the perception of past, present, and future dissolving into a seamless continuum. In this expansive quiet, one senses the interplay of cycles, patterns, and rhythms that have persisted for eons. The rotation of planets, the drift of tectonic plates, the ebb and flow of oceans, the pulse of life in forests and meadows. All is interconnected, each element contributing to the intricate symphony of existence. It is here in this stillness that one can feel a profound serenity, a recognition of being part of a timeless, expansive, and delicate web that stretches from the microscopic to the cosmic. Finally, as sleep approaches, consciousness softens, thoughts slow, and the body relaxes. The mind, like the forest or river, begins to enter its own nightly rhythm, reflecting the cycles observed in the natural world. Energy conserved, memories stored, and neural connections strengthened, preparing for renewal and continued growth. In this state, the boundary between observer and observed becomes porous, a gentle merging with the world's rhythm. The harmony of life, from the smallest microorganism to the vast expanse of the universe, resonates quietly within, offering calm reassurance that everything is part of a larger, patient, and beautiful pattern. As night settles fully, there is peace, a serene understanding that life continues, endlessly connected, endlessly flowing, and endlessly resilient.